Hi, and welcome to Geno's Tuesday morning wrap-up. Isn't this great? We take all the football from the weekend and tie it into a neat little ball. We don't need to talk about the NCAA. Had a pretty good week going 5-1 there. But let's talk about what we learned from this weekend's slate of football games, or at least 3 that stood out to me. And I'd like to start with an I told you so. And I know it's only week 2, but so far what I've said about the NFC East is coming to pass. I said that the Eagles were all hype. I said that, Chip Kelly, he's already forgettable. Didn't really want Bradford. He packaged all those people for the Mariota deal that fell through. We'll get to that in a minute. But Sam Bradford may have had a great rookie year for the Rams, but then he couldn't stay healthy. And with all these injuries, you forget, as good as his rookie year was, this is a guy that people studied, and he doesn't look to have learned anything in all that time he had to look at film on the bench because Dallas owned him. He was throwing off his back foot. He wasn't playing well, and the only thing more embarrassing than his 5.3 passer rating was the 2 rushing yards by DeMarco Murray, because what did we say about DeMarco Murray? If you haven't heard, the guy had over 700 touches for the Cowboys last year, because I'm starting to think, this is a man, by the way, that's on pace to get 88 yards on the year, and that shouldn't surprise you because he took a beating last year. The Dallas franchise hasn't run something like that into the ground that badly since they brought back Larry Hagman for the TNT reboot. He's done. Murray is beat. Matthews is brittle, and I'm telling you, he only got Matthews as a throw-in for the Mariota trade that he fell through. And once that didn't happen, you've got nothing left because they are going to have no running game all year because you seem to forget there's a big difference between rushing behind the Cowboys' offensive line, which opens up huge holes, and rushing behind the Eagles' terrible offensive line, which makes you scream a word that's associated with a woman's hole. Okay? And don't worry about Dallas and their injuries. I mean it. Because with that offensive line, suddenly Whedon and Williams are the new Dez and Romo. Because they can do that all day. And they're going to be fine in the 2 months without those two. You know why? Because they play in the NFC East. And the only team with another win in the they play in the NFC East. You knew that. And the only team with a win in that division outside of Dallas is the Redskins, who stink. Not the Giants. They're 0-2, and how about them and their record-setting pace? Did you see what they did this weekend? For the second straight time, and the first time in NFL history, they lost a game in the fourth quarter despite having a 10-point lead. Something's going on there, but they are losing leadership, and you cannot go. This is what's going to stick in your craw. You should easily be looking up every day saying, we're 2-0. We're hanging with Dallas, who just lost their 2 big playmakers, but they're 0-2. And I think at this point that the Dunkin' Donuts ad, I don't know if you've seen it. Well, if you don't live here, you have it. But it features Eli Manning and Odell Beckham Jr. I think Dunkin' Donuts should take that ad back. You know why? Because coffee is for closers. The Giants can't finish, and I think they are finished, okay? And one more thing to chat about. Why haven't I heard anything the past 2 days from Buffalo Nation? Look, I like Rex Ryan, but suddenly the game seems to have passed him by. Bill Belichick exposed him because for all the great defensive players he has and all the great strategies he can throw in, if you do what Belichick did, and I think the rest of the NFL knows, just throw. You don't give him time to put in all these different defenses, and suddenly you know exactly how Russell Wilson feels, don't you, Rex Ryan? You sit there looking at your beautiful package, but there's no way you can get it in. Look, Tyrod Taylor was exposed. All right? I like the kid, but he couldn't play without the lead, and he looked terrible. And I think the only thing right now that makes the Bills look worse than what the Patriots did to them Sunday is what the Jets did to the Colts on Monday night, because suddenly that opening win against the Colts doesn't impress me. Colts are a mess. And now you got a Thursday game with the Giants versus the Redskins. Who are you going to take? I'm leaning towards the friggin' Redskins at this point, but I just can't see them finishing. And then you have that big game, Jets-Eagles, coming up. That's going to be interesting. We'll get to that in Geno's picks this Thursday.